Chapter 41. Jensen is sitting in the sitting area of his and Christie's bedroom. He is watching her and Destiny is asleep. He is still thinking about Christie making him her business partner. That is something that he never expected. So he decides that he will add some more business courses alone finances and the business courses that he is already taking. He doesn't want to disappoint her. Jensen wants to make Christie and Destiny proud of him. Then his mind goes on Anthony. That bastard, after all of this time he thinks that he can just walk back into her life. I will never let that happen. Christie was mine the moment she walked into my life. He is thinking. His cell phone rings. Jensen looks at the scene but he doesn't know the number. Phone conversation, Jensen, hello. Avery, it's Avery. Don't hang up, Jensen, how did you get my number? Avery, don't be mad. But your mother gave it to me. Jensen, I read your note. But I have been busy. My fiancé has just given birth to our daughter. I had planned on calling you in a few days. What do we have to discuss? Avery, congratulations. Man, I know that I fucked up. I had drunk a lot that night. I know that is not an excuse. You and I have been friends for years. Jensen, thank you. Avery, it's not about you fucking Veronica. My thing is if I can trust you again. Avery, you can trust me. I will never cross the line again. Don't worry about the drinking. I still haven't drunk a drop since that night. Jensen, I will need some time to think about it. I will call you in a couple of days. Avery, okay man. Again congratulations on your daughter. Jensen, thank you. End of call. Jensen smiles looking at Christie. She is waking up. Hey, are you going to sit over there and watch us? Or you can come to join us. Christie looks over at him. I was just admiring the two most beautiful young ladies in the world. They are all mine. He is walking over to the bed. Christie is sitting up. I still can't believe that we are parents. Who would have thought that we would create this beautiful little person? She picks their little girl up, laying her on her chest. Jensen leans over, he kisses Destiny's head and Christie's cheek. He starts telling her about his conversation with Avery. After he and she talked about the situation, he agrees to meet Avery. Good. Now we need to get our parents divorced. But I have a strange feeling that something is about to happen. Christie is looking at him. He is picking Destiny up off of her chest. Please don't say those two are going to change their minds about divorcing each other. He is changing their daughter's diaper. She laughs. No. We would never let that happen. I would ship my father and sisters to Paris or somewhere before those two get together again. It's just a weird feeling that I have. But I know that whatever it is, it's nothing good. She looks out of doors that go to their balcony. Jensen moves closer to her. He lays his free arm around her. Don't worry, sweetheart. I will never let anything happen to you. I would die first. Christie lays her head on the edge of his chest. I would die for you too. At Mavis' house. Tiffany has been watching Mavis's house. She is looking for them to come back. I wonder how long did David wait after I left before he fucked her. Hell, probably the same damn night. She yells as she walks over to a chair to sit down. Where did he get the money from to buy that SUV? His ass was broke when I left. Unless that bastard lied to me. He had some money hidden. My damn kids better not be calling that bitch mother. She is thinking. She walks back or to the window looking out. That car has been sitting there a long time. Damn Tiffany, you're paranoid, she mumbles. David, Mavis, and the twins drive up. The four are laughing as they walk into the house. Mavis and David are holding hands. Tiffany is looking at them. She starts jumping up and down cussing. I see that I will have to kill her as I will that dame daughter of his. Tomorrow when she comes back. I will be in there waiting for her ass. Hell, David was probably involved with Christy and Jensen selling me. She is thinking. Andy is laying back in the driver's seat looking at her standing in the window. The owner doesn't know that she is here. Why did she pick this place? He is thinking as he looks at Tiffany hitting the wall. Then his attention goes on David and the twins. They are getting into the SUV to leave. Let's just see what Mary's next move is. He whispers looking at her. She is standing on the side of the window, but is peeping out of the window. As he calls Raheem. Phone conversation, Raheem, hey. Andy, one thing for sure, she is up to something. The lady that lives in the house is not aware that Mary is living over her garage. Raheem, I found out that the owner's name is Mavis. Just sit back and watch for now. Don't make any move yet. I might have you to bring that worthless thing to me. Andy, okay. End of call. His attention goes back to the window that Mary is standing in the middle of. She is looking at Mavis's house. Raheem and Sutton. Sutton is sitting behind his desk. He looks up at Raheem. Mary needs to be dealt with ASAP. I don't want her wandering around or talking to people. Raheem put his cell phone in his pocket. She is still hiding in that apartment. I believe that she is there for a reason. But if she walks off of that property, her ass will be brought back here. Sutton throws some papers on his desk. We need to let Carl know that her ass is on the loose. Nope, if you remember, that is his sister. But we should contact Christina and Jensen. I will call her office, leave her a decrypted message. Raheem takes his cell phone. I will warn them, but I will not tell her where Mary is. She is mine to kill. He is thinking. Sutton sits back into his chair. Just think, if I wouldn't have had outbidden Christina. That gorgeous Jensen would be mine. I would never touch a hair on his body. Treat him like a king. He is thinking at Christy and Jensen's house. As soon as David and the twins arrive at the house, the twins run up the stairs to Christy and Jensen's room. David is running behind them trying to stop them. But he is having no luck. Regardless of what he is saying to stop them is not working. Linda is standing at the bottom of the stairs laughing. Cliff walks beside her. Those two will have to go through Jay before they get to his two girls. Cliff points at Jensen standing at the top of the stairs with his arms folded. Stop running. But you have to sanitize first. Then you can see your sister and niece. Jensen laughs, looking at a tired David standing on the stairs trying to catch his breath. Are you okay? It's hard trying to keep up with those two. I am not young as I used to be. Ginseng, I need some ginseng. How are Chris and Destiny? David walking up the rest of the stairs. Jensen laughs. Both of my beauties are doing great. Chris is expecting you all. Jensen hands David the sanitizer. The twins are standing beside Jensen. Come on, they said in unison, catching Jensen's hands, pulling him. As soon as they are in the bedroom, the twins run over to the bed. Christy is holding Destiny in her arms for her sister to look at her. Lane looks at Christy's stomach. Where is your beach ball? I am going to let our father explain that to you when you are a lot older. I do mean a lot older. Christy looks over at David. He has a huge smile on his face. I agree with your sister. She is beautiful. Lakin is rubbing Destiny's light brown hair. This is our baby, Lane smiles, looking at Destiny's green eyes. Christy is looking at her sisters, laughing. Yes, she is our baby. Her phone beeps. It's Vicky. I wonder what is it now. She shakes her head as she starts to read the text. Text. Vicky, I received a weird-ass call. But the man said that it's important. Anyway. He said that he no longer has the package that you delivered to him at the library. So be on the lookout for it. Chris, thanks. End of text. I told you that I had a strange feeling. Chris looks at Jensen and hands him her phone. Shit, he is thinking as he reads the text. I need to talk to Cliff. I will be right back. Jensen is walking out of the bedroom. Besides killing Anthony, I might have to kill Tiffany's slimy ass too. He is thinking. David is looking at the two of them. Something is wrong. Do you two need my help? Christy looks at her father. Tomorrow morning come here to have breakfast with us. We will explain everything. Her father nods his head. Now let me hold my beautiful grandbaby. He reaches for her. The twin jumps off the bed, walking with him to a chair. Jensen and Cliff. Cliff is in the den with 3 other men. Jensen walks into the room. Good, all of you are here. It seems that Tiffany has managed to have escaped. Put someone on Mavis's house. She might be on her way there. I don't believe that she would go after my mother. Damn, I had hoped that Chris wouldn't have to deal with her anymore. What about David and the twins? Cliff is looking at Jensen. Jensen is walking over to the bar. He picks up a bottle of mineral water out of the cooler. Christy and I are meeting with him in the morning. At that time we will tell him everything. He takes a sip of the water. This time make it where she will never come back again. Jensen looks at Cliff. You got it. I wasn't going over to Chris's grandmother's house until tomorrow. But I believe I better go tonight. In case she decides to go there. Cliff is now standing beside Jensen. That would be best. Who knows what that fruitcake will do? If you all will excuse, I have to clear a bedroom so Christy and Destiny can get some rest. It's Destiny's feeding time. Jensen is looking at his watch. Natalie's house. She is sitting on her porch when a black navigator stops in front of her house. So much for peace and quiet. I take it he wasn't the father either. She is looking at Carl, Veronica, and Bradley walking her way. Veronica sits down on the steps. The little boy hugs his grandmother. Then he starts running around the yard. Carl sits across from Natalie. Thank you for letting my wife and son stay here. If you hadn't done that, I would hate to think what would have happened to them. You're welcome, Natalie smiles. She is relieved that Carl is the father. Because to be honest, he scares her. She hates to think about what he would have done to Veronica if he wasn't. She does some fucked up things. But she is still my daughter. She is thinking. From here on my son will be called CJ. My lawyers are handling everything regarding his name. Now I remember that you asked to be compensated for taking care of your daughter and grandchild. He is taking something out of his pocket. This is all you will ever get from me and my wife. Do not ask my wife for a penny. If you spend this, then it's on you. Do not ever just show up at our home. I do not like uninvited guests. Do I make myself clear? He is looking at Natalie. She is looking at the check, smiling and nodding her head. Veronica is looking at her. She called me greedy. Now I see where I get it from, she is thinking. Carl stands up. He takes Veronica's hand. Son, come on. We have to go shopping. Daddy is buying you some toys and clothes. The little boy runs over to him. He picks him up with his free hand. Mommy needs a night off from cooking. How about we pick something up for dinner before we go home? Mommy, the little boy points at Veronica. Yep, Mommy needs a break. Carl kisses the side of Veronica's head. Veronica smiles at their son. Natalie is still looking at the check. That she hasn't noticed that they are leaving. Damn. $200,000. She whispers. Chapter 42. The next morning David is walking out on Christy and Jensen's balcony for breakfast. They are already sitting at the table waiting on him. David doesn't know what is going on. But he knows that it's important. He also knows that he will help them in any way that he can. You might want to eat before we talk, she said as soon as her father sits down. No. I have been wondering all night. He takes a sip of his coffee. Christy looks at Jay as he starts to tell David about them paying Carl to sell Tiffany. That she has escaped from the buyer. After is finished, he looks at David. Don't worry about Mavis. Someone is already watching her. David is looking at the two of them in disbelief. Damn. I never thought that they had that in them to do something like that. He is thinking. But she already had her suitcase. She was about to break into Mavis's house before she left. But Eddie and James stopped her. So she was leaving either way. Also, when I thought you were involved in our parents' and my grandmother's death, we were planning to do the same thing with you. Christy is looking at her father. Jay and I are not going to apologize, nor do we feel any remorse regarding our actions. She looks at Jay. Christy is right. He nods his head, looking at her. David's attention is on his daughter now. I don't hold that against you. You two wanted justice and you deserved it. True. Jensen looks at David. Did you know that Tiffany is Carl's baby sister? What? No, I had no idea. David shakes his head. Wait a damn minute. Once I think about that day that I met Carl was pretty strange. I hadn't seen him in a few years. As a matter of fact, she was the one that introduced me to him. But neither one said anything about them being related. Hell, that bitch set me up. She sent me to that restaurant to pick up an order that she placed. But when I arrived, the order hadn't been called in yet. So I had to call her. She sure did take her sweet time in calling the restaurant. Damn it, Jensen, she had already planned on selling you. Carl brought up the subject. When I told her about it, she pushed me into doing it. Damn, that bitch conned me. Now we have to find her before she hurts anyone else. David, we met with Holly. I am assuming that Tiffany killed her mother. But why did you cremate Holly's mother so quick? Jensen is picking up Chrissy's glass of milk, handing it to her. Drink, he points at her with his head. That wasn't my doing. It was my cousin Ben that ordered that to be done. I had no idea that my mother's nurse was Holly's mother until I was already seeing her. David shakes his head. Ben fired me after I questioned him about it. As a matter of fact, he and Tiffany were good friends. That is until after that happened. Who is that woman? David drops his head. A lunatic. Yep, you stick with Mavis. We don't need any psycho serial killers in our family. Christy points at her father with her fork. It seems that the con man got con. Jay is looking at David. David nods his head. Yep, so it seems. Mavis' house. Tiffany has been waiting for Mavis to leave to go to her boutique. But for some reason, Mavis is running late and has not left yet. She looks over to see if that car that she thought was watching her was there. But it was not there. Another car is parked there. See, Tiffany, you were right. You're just paranoid. She is talking out loud to herself. Damn, it feels good to hear my name and not that damn Mary. She is thinking. Then she sees Mavis walking out of her house, walking toward the garage. Good, that's right, bitch. Take your damn ass to work. You better enjoy today, because it will be your last day. Now to find a way to get that damn Christina over here. I will take care of you both at the same time. Then I will deal with that two-timing David. I can't believe that he let my twin be around his damn mark. I know that he is up to something. Trying to act like he is interested in her again. It's a damn act. She is thinking as she is looking at Mavis driving out of the driveway. Tiffany gives Mavis time to get out of sight. She takes a chef's knife out of the drawer, then she walks out of the apartment. She walks over to the patio door because it is on the back side of the house. But it has bars on it. Damn, that wasn't there before. She shakes the bars, whisper, yelling. She is looking for another way in the house when she sees the side door to the garage is open. She runs to that door. Tiffany looks around the garage as she sits on the stool waiting on Mavis to return. Andy didn't see Tiffany come out of the apartment because he has fallen asleep. Eddie wasn't able to park too close to the house. Because of all the other cars that are parked on the side of the street. He had to park farther down the street. He only has a view of Mavis's front yard. He can also see who drives in and out of her driveway. Sutton and Raheem. Sutton is sitting behind his desk smiling to himself. Maybe if I offer Christina the double amount that she paid for Jensen, she will accept it. But first I will have to find a way to get rid of Raheem. I realized that he was tired of my ways when that no-good Mary was here. He is thinking as he looks up at Raheem sitting across the room looking at him. His ass is up to something. If he is thinking about bringing another fucking toy into this house, he better think again. I will not sit back while he is playing with someone else anymore. That sick shit got old. Raheem is thinking. He is still looking at Sutton. Do you have an update on Mary? Sudden asks he is trying to get his man off of Jensen. He was looking at me as if he knew what I was thinking. He is thinking. Raheem stands up. Nothing new. She is still hiding in that apartment. I am planning on handling her this evening. But right now I am going to the grocery store. Do you need anything? I want to cook something special for us tonight after I kill that skank. No, nothing at all. Tonight I just want to enjoy you. Sudden smiles, then he looks at his computer. Raheem walks out of the office. Sudden calls Christie's office. He asks Vicky to put him through to Christie. That he is the one that called yesterday about that package. Sudden only had to wait a few minutes before Christie is on the phone. Phone conversation, Christie, hello. Sudden, hello. You have something that I am carving for. Christie, excuse me. Sudden, your toy. I want him. Christie, oh I see. But you are mistaken, I don't have a toy. Nor have I ever had a toy. Jensen is my fiancé. He is not for sale. He will never be. Jensen is free. He has always been. Sudden, stop playing games with me, I will pay you $40 million. Christie, listen here. My fiancé is not for sale. Find your slut and deal with her. End of call. That bitch hung up on me. He yells, looking at the phone. So you planned on bringing someone else here again? Raheem is standing at the door looking at Sudden. Sudden jumps, looking at him, walking over to him. No, I was only inquiring. Just for the hell of it. I told you that I was done with that life. Damn, I thought you had left. If I had left, then how would I know what your two-faced ass was up to? Do not try to deny it or play me for a fool. I heard every damn word that you said. I have put up with all of your crazy shit. Hell, I killed all of those innocent peoples for you because I love you. Do you think for 1 minute that I would let you replace me? I have devoted all of my life to you. Not once have I ever betrayed you. Raheem is now standing beside Sudden. Sudden slides his chair. He raises his hands for Raheem. You are my sweetie pie. Baby, you know that I could never replace you. Raheem walks into Sudden's arms. Hell, I am not worried about being replaced anymore. He places his hands on Sudden's head. I have always loved you. He snaps Sudden's neck. Raheem kisses Sudden's forehead. I had to kill you. If not, you would always have wanted someone else, he whispers. Christie in Jensen's house. Christie throws her phone on the bed. I can't believe that fat fart. She looks at Jensen. Can you believe that he had the nerves to ask me to sell you to him? As if you are a piece of property. Talking about paying me $40 million for you. No amount of money in the world is worth you. Who? Sell me. Sweetheart, first you need to calm down. Then tell me what and who are you talking about? Jensen is sitting down beside her. Sudden. I knew the way he eyed you that day at the library that he had some feeling for you. Christie is waving her hands in the air. Are you talking about the asshole that bought Tiffany? He is rubbing her hand, trying to calm her down. Yep, Sudden. That bastard. He is a financial whiz. I knew who he was the moment he stepped out of the car. Hell, he probably let that bitch go. Taking about you're my toy. She is looking at her phone. Jensen pulls her into him. He kissed her forehead. Well, we both know that is not going to happen. But you should calm down. Let's not think or worry about him. He is nothing to us. Okay. But if he comes after you, I will have to kill him. Do you understand me? She is burying her head in his chest. Yes, sweetheart, I understand you. Jay kisses the top of her head. You will never have to think about killing that sick bastard. Because I will kill him myself, he is thinking. Let's change the subject. How did your talk with Avery go? She is still buried in his chest. Oh, I didn't call him. But I texted him. As you suggested, he and I will meet. But I am still not happy about leaving you and Destiny. He talking in between, planting kisses on her head. Babe, you need a break and some air. Besides, Destiny and I have a house full of people if we need anything. So go have fun. She kisses his chest. I will go because you want me to. But I don't know if I will have fun. Promise me that you call or text me if you need me for anything. He leans back looking at her. I will always need you. But yes, I promise. She smiles looking at him. Downstairs in the den, Cliff and David are watching an old basketball game. Cliff looks at David. Do you think that Tiffany will come after Chris? Yes. I do. She is a killer. I know that I had said that I couldn't kill the mother of my kids. But if it comes down to her and Christina, Tiffany is one dead-ass bitch. My baby girl has been through too much in her life already. I will not stand by and let anyone hurt her. If it came to that, and later on if the twins found out that I killed their mother, I hope they would understand. If not, then I am sorry. David is looking at Cliff. Well, let's hope that it doesn't. I will not let anyone hurt her either. Cliff is looking at Jensen walking into the hall. I am ready to go. David, I need to you make sure that my girls are taken care of. Jay looks at David. David smiles. Don't worry, I will make sure. Now go enjoy yourself. At the restaurant. When Jensen and Cliff arrive at the restaurant, Avery is already there. Cliff sits at the bar and orders him a sandwich and a soda. Thanks for meeting with me, Avery said as soon as Jensen sits down. We have been friends for a long time. But I have to be honest, at first I didn't want to talk or come here. But Christy talked me into it. Jensen is looking at the menu. I am glad that you are here. Again, I want to apologize for everything. I really don't want to lose your friendship. Man, you and I have been together since we were kids. Avery is looking at Jensen. Let's just forget about Veronica and that entire ordeal. But just remember, Christy is off limits. Jensen is looking at Avery very seriously. Avery throws his hands up in the air. Hey, you don't have to worry about that. That is good to know. Jensen is still looking at Avery. Because I will kill you if you touch her. Tomorrow I will deal with Anthony's conniving ass, he is thinking as the waitress is walking over to the table. Chapter 43. Tiffany is still in Mavis's garage. She hears footsteps on the stairs of the apartment over the garage. Damn, that has to be Raheem. He is looking for me. I knew that someone was in that car watching me. She is thinking. She doesn't move. She raises the knife into the air, looking at the door. Raheem is walking down the stairs. She isn't here, he yells, looking around the backyard. Fuck. Mary, wherever you are, your one lucky ass. I was planning on sending you to meet your daddy in hell tonight. Let's go. He killed Daddy. Damn, I never saw that coming. She is thinking but still hasn't moved. About 30 minutes later, Tiffany stands up to stretch her legs. Damn, I have to use the bathroom. Where in the hell is this woman? Her ass had better not be with David. She is talking out loud to herself. Mavis is running late because she went shopping for a gift for Destiny. David is taking her over to Christy and Jensen's tomorrow. Tiffany is getting impatient. She finally hears Mavis driving into the driveway. Mavis's phone rings. She doesn't recognize the number, but she answers it anyway. Phone conversation. Mavis, hello. Christy, hi Mavis, this is Chris. Mavis, hi. Is everything okay? Christy, yes, everything is great. Tomorrow, when you come, can you bring the monthly report with you? Mavis, can you hold on for a minute? Christy, sure. Mavis steps out of her car. She feels something sharp object against her back. Hang up the phone. Bitch, Tiffany is talking low. But Christy hears her. Tiffany? Mavis asks, confused. Yep, it's me. Hang up the damn phone. Tiffany is reaching for the phone. Christy, Tiffany, this is Christina. It's me that you want, not her. She is yelling through the phone. Tiffany snatches the phone from Mavis. Tiffany, this is even better than I imagined. You have 30 minutes to get your ass over her. If you're not here, I will kill this bitch. Christy, I am on my way. Don't hurt her. Tiffany, we will be waiting for you in the garage. End of call. Mavis sits her purse and bags on top of the hood of her car. She turns to look at Tiffany. Now sit your ass down. Tiffany points at the stool that she had been sitting on all day. At Christy's house. She is on her cell phone as she is jogging down the stairs. David sees her coming down. He is at the bottom of the stairs. Linda runs out of the kitchen. Linda watched Destiny and the twins. Father, Tiffany has Mavis. If I'm not there in 30 minutes, she is going to kill her. Christy is running toward the garage. Shit! He yells, running behind her. We need a plan. I have a plan in mind. I don't know if you are going to like it. That is for me to kill the bitch. She grabs the keys to a 2020 Lexus LC 500. David jumps in on the passenger side. Call Jay, tell him to meet us there, but don't do anything. Also, for him to tell Cliff to tell Eddie and James the same thing. If she sees them, that crazy bitch will not have a problem with killing Mavis. Christy is speeding out of the driveway. David is on the phone with Jensen and reaching for his seatbelt. He looks at her when he is off the phone. Who taught you to drive like this? She is running lights, cutting in and out of traffic, and passing every car that she sees. My mother did. Just pray that a policeman doesn't see us. Because I am not stopping. She glances over at her father. Damn, I hope Jay doesn't mind me test driving his gift. She is thinking. David is holding on to his seatbelt with one hand and the dash with the other hand. Jensen, shit, I have to go. Jensen is walking toward Cliff. Avery throws some money on the table, then he runs behind Jensen. Jensen repeats to Cliff what David told him. Damn, Cliff yells as he throws some money on the bar, reaching for his phone. Avery jumps in the back of the SUV. Cliff and Jensen both turn around looking at him. You might need my help. Avery looks at Jensen. Just go, Cliff. He waves for Cliff to drive off. If that bitch hurt Christy, I will break every damn bone in her fucking body before I kill her. When did Jensen become so violent? Avery is thinking. Jensen is looking at Cliff. How did she get past Eddie and James? Cliff shakes his head. She must have been already inside. He looks over at Jensen. Calm down, David is with her. Plus Chris is one hell of a fighter. She doesn't need to be fighting. She just had destiny. Christy's body isn't healed. Jensen yells. Avery is not saying anything. He is just listening and taking in everything. Back at Mavis. David gets out of the car before Christy turns into the driveway. He is squatting down and walking behind the car. Christy steps out of the car and walks toward the garage. I'm here. She knocks on the door. Mavis opens the door with a knife to her throat. Christy looks at Mavis. Are you okay? Yes, Mavis cuts her eyes back toward Tiffany. Raise your hands up so I can see them. Tiffany throws Mavis to the side and reaches for Christina. Then turns her back to the door, forgetting that the door is still open. David is slowly walking inside. Your ass thought that you had gotten rid of me, Tiffany whispers in Chris's ear. Chris laughs. Nope, your daddy called me to let me know that had run away. Have you been kneeling down on any more grits lately? Mavis is trying not to look at David. She also wondering who is Tiffany's daddy. I am glad that you find that disturbing shit funny. Tiffany is looking at Mavis. Bitch, you stole my family. Yeah, I saw you, David, and my daughters. My daughters, not yours. Chris is trying not to hit Tiffany yet. Because the knife is up to her throat. Sorry, but you will never see or be around my sisters again. Neither will you. Tiffany whispers. Christy smirks. Wanna bet? About that time David grabs Tiffany's hands, pulling them away from around Chris's neck. He throws her against the car, knocking the knife out of her hand. Tiffany is looking at him in disbelief. As she swings at him, David moves his head back. Be careful, father, Christy yells. Father. Tiffany mumbles as David's hands are going around her neck. David is looking Tiffany in her eyes as he is choking her. You have killed 2 women that I loved and Jay's father. I will not let you hurt any other else that I love. Tiffany is hitting his arms. But he is squeezing harder and tighter. No one will harm my daughter or Mavis. David squeezes harder until Tiffany stops breathing. Christy and Mavis run over to him to hug him. About that time Jay runs into the garage. Avery, Cliff, James, and Eddie are behind him. Christy runs into his arms. He attacks her lips, entwining their tongues. Okay, you two. It's too early for J-Lo to have a sister or brother. Cliff walks over to look at Tiffany's lifeless body. Avery, Eddie, and James laughs. Detective Spradling walks into the garage. He looks at Tiffany. What happened here? Mavis starts off to telling him, then Christy tells him the rest. Well, I guess it over. I was on my way to your house when you zipped past me. Hell, I couldn't catch up with you. I spotted Cliff and followed him here. I hope you will not be driving back that fast. Everyone laughs. No, I won't. She shakes her head. Besides, it's not my car. I might not ever be allowed to drive it. It's a surprise for Jay from our daughter and me. But it sure drives and rides really good. Corners like it's on rails. She kisses him again, then she sees Avery. Thank you and our daughter for the car. I might let you drive it. Corners like it's on rails. He smiles as he kisses her forehead. Oh, Detective, what were you coming to our house for? He and Christy are looking at the man. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Several people's reported seeing a homeless lady running around town in a shirt and pamper. For some strange reason, I pulled one of the street videos. I saw that it was Tiffany. I decided that I give you all heads up. Since I have everyone's name, you all can go. I will contact you if I need anything else. Spradling is looking at the coroner and a few more officers walking into the garage. I take it that you two worked things out. Christy is looking at Avery as Jensen is picking her up. Yes, we did. Jensen is walking to his car. I love my gift. He sits her in it. You two go home. I will drop Avery back off at the restaurant. Cliff is looking at David and Mavis walking their way. Christy smiles at her father. Thank you for saving my life. You stay with Mavis. I will get Linda to keep the twins. Mavis, welcome to the family. She smiles at Mavis. Mavis smiles as David pulls her closer into his arms. Tonight has been interesting. I have to admit that I was curious about you and Christina. It's like you two relationship came from out of nowhere. Avery looks over at Chris. Jensen turns to look at Chris. That's exactly how it happened. But I wouldn't change one thing about it. See you later, Avery. When Jensen and Christy returned home, the first thing they did was to check on their little Destiny. Then he carries her to their bed. Sweetheart, tomorrow you will not do anything. Jay is undressing her and help her into her pajamas. We have that meeting with Anthony. She is laying down. Darn, I had forgotten about that jerk. Jay is sliding on a pair of pajama bottoms. He slides behind Christy, wraps his arms around her. You know that Tiffany is dead. I believe our parents can finally rest, and so can we. I agree. It took us a while, but we did it. Now we only have to think about our little munchkin, getting married, and enjoying our life together. Jensen kisses the back of her head. You know I want 1 or 2 more little munchkins. Christy laughs. Yes, I know. But can we wait until she is out of diapers? Well, let me think. He laughs. I will have her trained by the time she is a year old. So yes. He and Christy both laughs. I love you, Jay, she said through her laughing. I love you too. He kisses the back of her head and pulls her into him. Anthony's house. When he walks into his living room, Valerie is sitting on the sofa drinking a glass of wine. Why are your greedy ass here? She takes a sip of her wine. Where else would I be? This is my home. Anthony walks over to the bar. He pours himself a glass of bourbon. This is not your home any fucking more. That is where you are wrong. You see, while you were working so damn hard to save your precious company, I had your name removed and mine added to the deed of this property. She takes a sip of wine. She throws a copy of the deed on the coffee table. He looks at her with his head tilted to the right. Do you think that I would let the like of you live here in my house in peace? Bitch, you have lost your fucking mind. Anthony is reading the deed. Valerie stands up, dancing across the room to the bar. There's not a damn thing that you can do about it. All of this is mine. Your bags are already packed. Now you need to get the hell out of my house. She laughs, then she turns around to look at him. No, Anthony, please don't. She begs while looking at a Colt 45 pointed at her. Shut the fuck up. I don't have anything to lose. You went through my money like it was water. My company went bankrupt. You managed to trick me to cheat on Chris, the only woman that I loved. Now you have taken my house. He is walking over to her. Anthony, you don't want to do this. Valerie is crying. You will go to prison. He laughs. No, I don't believe I will. Anthony places the gun to the side of her head and pulls the trigger. Her body falls on the floor. Anthony walks over to the bar. He pours another glass of bourbon. He walks over to a chair to sit down. Anthony drinks all of the bourbons, then he places the gun in his mouth. I love you, Christina. He pulls the trigger. Epilogue. A few days after the housekeeper discovered Anthony and Valerie's bodies, the detectives also arrested a man named Donald West. The charge was embezzlement and conspired to commit murder. He was an employee in Anthony's company and Valerie's lover. He and Valerie were planning to kill Anthony and take what little he had left. The deed that she had showed Anthony was fake. Christy couldn't believe that Anthony could do anything like that. But she knew that from what she had heard that Valerie had pushed him into it. Jensen had done some research regarding Anthony's company. He and Christy were planning to help him save it, as long as he understood that Chrissy was off limits. Right after the incident with Tiffany trying to kill Christy and Mavis, David and the twins moved in with Mavis. Mavis was having nightmares for about 3 months. David and Mavis got married 2 months after Christy and Jensen. Lane and Lakin call her mother now. David was curious about Tiffany's parents. He didn't know if they were dead or alive. He managed to find out that her parents were scared of her. So her brother Carl moved them to Phoenix, Arizona. Tiffany tried to burn her parents' house down when they refused to give her some money for a movie. Carl wanted to kill her, but he had made a promise to his mother that wouldn't. Oscar knew that Jensen is very protective of his mother. Since the whole David ordeal, Robbie told him everything about her and David's relationship. Well, except about selling her son. Christy and Jay want to keep that private. So the night before Oscar was planning to propose to Robbie, he and Jensen had dinner. He asked Jay's permission to marry his mother. Jensen didn't object. He could see that his mother and Oscar loved each other. But more, he knew that Oscar is a good man, that he would take care of his mother. Robbie and Oscar have been married for 4.5 years now. She is the office manager of his practice. Oscar has 2 grown kids, Steven and Felicia. They both love Robbie, treats her as if she is their mother. They have 9 kids between the 2 of them. The kids call Robbie grandmother. Natalie spent all the money that Carl gave her within a year. She went to his and Veronica's house asking for more money. He sent her away empty-handed, along with a promise to kill her if he comes back. Because she tried to use blackmail to get the money from him. Carl told Natalie the only reason that he didn't kill her right then is that she is his wife's mother. Next time he will forget that. Veronica asked Carl one more time about his relationship with Christy and Jensen. After picking herself up off of the floor that day, she hasn't asked again. Now CJ has a little brother to play with. His name is Christopher. Veronica wasn't happy about him at first. She said that it's too close to Christina's name. Carl named him after Christina, he said, because she is the biggest spender that he has ever had to purchase his special items. But he didn't tell Ronnie that. Christy gave Cliff her grandmother's house. She didn't have it in her to sell it to him or to anyone. She only had one condition. If he ever decides to move out of it, that he has to sell her. She doesn't want the house to go out of the family. Because she always wants part of her grandmother with her. Cliff met Tilly, wife, when he traveled with Jay, Christy, Destiny, and David to Berlin, Germany to visit her mother's game. She is 10 years younger than he is. But she loves Cliff to death. Cliff and Tilly have a daughter named Jennifer. He calls her J-Lo. One day Christy asked him what is with him and that name. Cliff said that he had a younger sister. That was his name for her. She died some years ago. Jensen and Avery are closer than ever. South close that Jensen was Avery's best man at he and Sydney's wedding 5 years ago. Sydney and Avery have 2 sons. 4-year-old Jussie and Campbell, he is 2 years old. Christy and Sydney have become friends. Vicky is in a polyamory relationship for 3 years now. She, Ryan, and Kellen had a spiritual ceremony. She and Ryan have a 2-year-old daughter named Blair. Kellen and she have an 8-month-old son named Ethan. Vicky is still Christy's assistant. Jensen lets them live in his family's house. He will never sell it. Jensen said that he will always keep it in his family as his father had done. Linda and Floyd are still working for Christy and Jensen. Linda still knows everything that goes on even when nobody tells her. But these days her hands are full with helping Christy and Jensen. Floyd is still quiet. Christina's company is #1 in cosmetics, cologne, and perfume. Jensen's office is right next to hers. But they both mostly work from home. Jensen Mi Amor line is selling out. Christy is always creating a new product for it. Jensen is now a famous model besides a businessman. Always he and Christy are inseparable. Neither one travels without the other or their kids. Today's Christy and Jensen's 6th wedding anniversary. They have decided to travel to the Villa Montana Beach Resort in Isabel, Puerto Rico, where they were married at. They are walking on the beach holding hands as the sun is setting. Destiny, 4-year-old Brandon, and 2-year-old Melody are running in front of them. Sweetheart, did you think that night when we first met that we were going to be this happy? Jay is looking at their kids running in and out of the water. She laughs. That night I was so nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen. Me either. But I knew that I was safe with you. Jay kisses her forehead. He and Christy sit down close to the beach where their kids are playing. Babe, that night when I said that you didn't have to sleep with me. Why did you? She turns to look at him. Jensen lay one of his hands around her waist. Because you said that you would have been worried about me. If someone else had bought me. For a few minutes, I didn't know why you would care. But I realized that you had to have some feelings for me. Also, something pulled me to you. I couldn't let you wake up alone that morning. I didn't know while I was waiting on you that the next day was going to be your mother's 1-year anniversary until you told me. She lays her head on his arm. Thank you for doing that. It meant a lot to me. Destiny, don't put your brother's head under the water. Jay laughs, he was messing with me. Destiny lets go of Brandon's head. Melody is sitting in the water splashing it. I can't believe tomorrow we will be married 6 years. Are you sure you want to marry me again? She laughs looking at Brandon pushing Destiny in the water. Brandon, you shouldn't push girls. Sweetheart, I would marry you every day if I could. Jay kisses her cheek. Christy smiles. I would do the same. I love you. I love you too. He picks her up, sitting her on his lap. We need to be heading back. I am sure that Journey is wearing my mother and Oscar out. Jay looks at their kids. 4 beautiful and handsome kids. Let's not forget my beautiful wife. Christy is picking Melody up out of the water. Seems like yesterday I was giving birth to Journey. It's hard to believe that she is 7 months today. Time sure does fly. I still think that we should try again for a boy. I love looking at your swollen bellies. Jay leans over to Christy's ear whispering. She shakes her head. 4 is enough. That is the same thing you said when Mel was born. Jensen laughs. The next day David and Mavis are in a room with Christy. He is looking at her smiling. I never thought that I would walk you down the aisle, let alone twice. Not to mention to the same wonderful man. Lakin and Lane run into the room. They are wearing matching boat neckline sleeveless green dresses. When I was a little girl I always dreamed about what my wedding day would be like. I would always pretend that you were there. For some reason, even though you weren't in my life at that time. I never saw myself walking down the aisle without you. I am glad that you and Mavis are here to share this with us. Chris smiles, then she turns to look at herself and the mirror. She is wearing an ivory V-neck fit and flare wedding gown. It has a small illusion plunge, gorgeous Venice lace, and an open back. Contrasted with a clean, crepe skirt with buttons down the back that leads to a godette in the train. Destiny, Melody, and Journey are wearing matching sleeveless white and yellow ruffle lace trim dresses. Mavis is holding Journey. I know that you are not my daughter by blood. But I feel as if you are my daughter. I am so happy to be included in your and Jensen's special day of renewing your wedding vows. Christy looks at her. I feel as if I am too. Thank you so much for loving and taking care of my father and sisters. Destiny, catch your sister's hand. Chris now has Journey in her hand. It's time to walk to your handsome father and brother. Let's do this. Yay, the 2 girls yell. Jensen's room, he is combing Brandon's light brown curly hair. Jensen looks at his son. Try to stay clean until after the ceremony. Jensen is looking at Brandon's white linen suit. Avery and Cliff are in the room with him. Avery laughs. Man, you one brave-ass man. Saying I do again. I barely made it through the first wedding. I don't ever want to go through that again. You know that Avery is right. Cliff points at Avery. I am going to ignore you too. Jensen is sliding his jacket on. Someone knocks on the door. Avery opens it. He sees that it's Robbie and Oscar. He let them into the room. Cliff and I will see you after the ceremony. He and Cliff walk out of the room. Robbie strengthens Jay's jacket. I am not going to ask if you are nervous. Because I am 100% sure that you're not. Oscar picks Brandon up. 6 years ago, we were doing this same thing. Well, except for my handsome grandson. I am not going to tell you to be happy. I don't believe anyone is as happy as you and your wife. He looks at Robbie. Yes, dear, we are happy. But these two are connected to one. It's like something that I have never seen before. I am not going to argue with that. Robbie smiles, looking at Oscar, then at Jensen. Are you too sure that you want the kids with you during the ceremony? Yes, Christy, our kids and I are a family. She and I want them to stand with us. We want them to know that we love them and we will always be there for them. Jensen reaches for Brandon. Are you ready to go get Daddy remarried to your beautiful mommy? Yes. Brandon yells. We are surprising Mommy. I changed the song that she will be walking down the aisle to. He is carrying Brandon out of the door. Oscar reaches for Robbie's hand. Let's see how our son did with this. Robbie laughs. Jensen and Brandon are standing in front of a double heart wedding arch. It is covered with white lilies, white tulips, yellow marigolds, and yellow King Humbert flowers. Destiny and Melody are walking down the aisle. When Christy and her father start walking down the aisle, You Make It Easy by Jason Aldean starts playing. She looks at Jay. He winks at her, then he touches his and pats it twice. Like a rainy Sunday morning. Makes me wanna stay in bed twisted up all day long. You're my inspiration, girl. You take me places, put the words right into these songs, stealin' kisses undercover, babe. See forever when I see your face, and I swear, God made you for me. David only walks her half. Christy is still holding Journey, as she, Destiny, and Journey walk up to Brandon and Jensen. The wedding officiant didn't say anything. He lets them say their own vows. Christina Linnell Holden. You are my best friend, my hero, and my love. My hopes and dreams are forever intermingled with yours. I draw from our combined experiences and feelings in our journey to our dreams. Our compromise and understanding powers the harmony in our marriage. Today and on all days, I take shared responsibility for our marriage, family, community, and myself, regardless of our successes or failures. I promise to be forgiving, but not complacent. I promise to always be faithful and true to you in mind, body, and spirit, to cherish you and respect you, and to be a source of comfort and support, free and bound by our love, as long as we shall live. Jensen smiles at her as he slides an 8-carat platinum diamond pave band on her finger. He kisses her hand. Jensen Dillon Holden, I love you. You are my best friend. Today, I recommit myself to you and our marriage. I promise to encourage and inspire you, to laugh with you, and to comfort you in times of sorrow and struggle. I promise to love you in good times and in bad, when life seems easy and when it seems hard, when our love is simple and when it is an effort. I promise to cherish you and to always hold you in the highest regard. These things I give to you today, and all the days of our life. Christy slides a 2.08-carat platinum diamond band on his finger. She smiles as she wipes the tears off of her cheek. Kiss your wife, the officiant looks at Jensen. But Jensen and Christy were already kissing. After the ceremony, Christy and Jensen walk away from everyone. His arms are wrapped around her. Her head is laying against his chest. Sweetheart, we did it again. I love you with every part of my. Jay kisses the back of her head. I never thought that I would love anyone. Until I met you. Babe, you made it so easy for me to love and trust you. You're the air that I breathe. She turns around to look at. So Mrs. Holden, same place in 6 years. Jensen kisses her forehead. It's a date, Mr. Holden. Christy smile. Jensen leans down, placing his lips on her. Entwining their tongues. Both let out a soft moan. When he releases her lips, he picks her up and sits on the ground in the sand with her in his lap. Christy and Jensen are looking at the beautiful sunset.